Hey there, Sal here with Detailers Growth. Welcome back to another episode of Close More Coatings, where we talk about all things related to marketing and sales within the detailing industry. It's been a while, Aaron, since we recorded our last episode. In fact, our last episode was a live stream, so I don't know if that counts. That was maybe towards the end of September, I think. But it's been a minute. It's been too long. We want to get back into the groove of things to where we can pump out these episodes every week, maybe every other week, depending on
I'm
our
ready
schedules.
for whatever, baby.
We've both been pretty tied up, pretty busy. So
A
yeah,
lot of
I
things
mean,
cooking.
a lot of things cooking, yes, and we're gonna go into a lot of that here. So like I said, my name is Salvador. I run and own Detailers Growth, a marketing agency here within the industry. Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, just for the new viewers, people who might not be familiar with who we are and what we do.
Oh, absolutely. So my name is Aaron Latman. I own a shop here in um, Northwest Indiana, about half hour from Chicago. And I started this in this industry at 15 years old. And oh my goodness, it's been coming up on year 5. And we've got 17 employees. And this year we're going to do just over 2.5 million in
Jesus.
revenue, and we're on track for 3 to 3.3 2026 with our sales team, and we've got stacked management now, and it's pretty awesome. So we're looking to start exiting day-to-day operations in Q2 of 2026. So the company
Yes.
will basically run itself, and I can just jump on more calls like this.
Yes. Likewise. Funny thing is, Aaron and I met when he was in his senior year of high school. I think we're only about 2 years apart. I'm 26 now, but I don't
21.
know. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
I thought you were older. Anyway, we
no.
met a long time ago, and yeah, we started recording these calls about 2 years ago. We did them on a weekly basis, but the biggest thing is that they were exclusive to clients, and now we're taking a little bit of a different approach where we're putting these out to the public. So anybody can watch these, anybody can get insights. One thing that I do want to note here is that we're going to add a calendar to detailersgrowth.com where you can actually see when we record these episodes and when we go live. So when the episodes come out and when we go live. Um, Last time it was a little bit spontaneous. We went live on just Instagram, YouTube. Got a lot of really good feedback from people on the topics. So awesome. So, Aaron, just to kind of dive into things here, I want to go over the holiday season. So, as of recording, it's December 10th. Christmas, the New Year is right around the corner. So, Aaron, just to jump into things, how has your marketing and your sales changed from the summertime to going into the holiday season and later on the winter time?
Yeah, thanks, Sal. Absolutely. So the wintertime's interesting because for us, we're in the cold and there's a bunch of
Yes.
snow on the ground and ice everywhere. And so the winter for my shop in my area is going to be the better half of the I would say like the upper half and eastern part of the US. Lower portions of the country probably in the West, they probably are slowing down a little bit around the holidays, but nowhere near as much as shops that have ice and snow outside. Because like when it's snowing outside and people are miserable and they're gloomy, they're not really thinking about like, oh, let me ceramic coat my car, or let me put paint protection film on my car, or let me get some window tint. Right? They're not really thinking of that right out the gates. So marketing really becomes a huge player in in the wintertime, right? But if you start trying to market and like really work on your marketing and advertising now you're preparing yourself for
Yeah.
March, April, May, and we need to start preparing in the late summer, early fall for this winter.
Yes.
So there's a few things that change when it comes to the not only pitch for coatings and films and stuff like that, but also in the marketing. There's a few things, and I want to dive into a few golden nuggets. So, the number one thing that we've seen with marketing and especially like on sales calls is you really want to push that salt is not going to stick on the exterior and protecting from the snow and the ice, as opposed to in the summertime, you're protecting from leaves, tar, bird poop, um,
The sun.
bird etchings, the sun, and dirt from sticking. Like, oh, the car is easier to clean and maintain. So when it comes to the wintertime, filming that video and posting it on social media and marketing it of, hey, this is the salt on your exterior and this is what it looks like and how easy it is for the salt to be removed and how it just doesn't even stick as much with a protective coating on the exterior. That is the biggest selling point. So almost pivoting a little bit from the wintertime of oxidation and sun damage and heat and dirt to now the snow, the salt, the ice, all of that. And there's other ways you can go about it in the warmer climates of the U.S. But basically, the biggest thing is when you're dialing in your sales process, you want to understand, okay, at this point in time on December 10th, what is going to make my client itch? And if you can get the client to itch, you will always prevail, right?
Yeah. And just to add to that, one thing that we're seeing across the board with our clients, here in the States, Canada, and Australia, is that the more services that you offer, the better prepared you are for wintertime. So if your business is just relying on detailing and coatings, those are very seasonal. Now, I would say that detailing is a little bit less seasonal than coatings, but if you're able to offer more than just those two core services, you're almost setting yourself up to be in a really good position the rest of the winter time. One thing that I do know is very popular over there on the east side where you're at, Aaron, is undercoatings. Like undercoatings have
Absolutely.
been huge for our clients, especially in the wintertime. Like that's really where, on the East Coast, in the Midwest, where you guys have all that salt, all the rust that you guys have to deal with. And it's just another stream of revenue where you're not relying on just coatings, you're not relying on the long sales cycles that coatings come with naturally. You're able to get that revenue this month, this week, if you advertise those services, obviously, and are able to close them. So, Aaron, what does that look like? Kind of zooming out a little bit, not just focusing on coatings, but what does that look like with the different services that you offer?
Yeah, so during the winter months, we have a fluctuation between services where coatings will go down a little bit around the holidays, but undercoatings always pick up. And that is one of the coolest parts, right, about the diversification of services is that when we offer one service and it's booming, another one might be a little bit slower. And then when the other one is slower, that one that was originally slower might be booming now. And so we kind of have this like high of undercoatings, low of ceramic, like medium PPF, high PPF, a little bit lower undercoatings, but high ceramic. And like this equilibrium happens of where now we're constantly booked out because one week we might have a ton of undercoatings booked, the next week we might have a ton of ceramics booked. And so it really balances it out to where we're and this is the wintertime, we're still booked out like a month and a half. Like right now we're about the 30-day mark, like for most services. And of course there's some services that can come in, next week, like tint and stuff of that
Yeah.
nature. But most of our key services that we advertise for are about a month out, which is we're blessed, very blessed.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna add on to that. So the
Yeah,
cool
for
thing
sure.
about the cool thing about having different services is that it gives you a lot more ammunition, both in the marketing side of things and in the selling side of things. Where, like, if somebody if somebody sees your ceramic coating ad or your PPF ad, they really want that service, but maybe they can't afford it just yet, you have the option to downsell them. You have the option to uh, do the opposite, where you could upsell them as well. So you get a lot more flexibility with not just the diversity of leads that come in, but also the opportunities that you get. You almost get multiple at bats with one lead, right? Versus
Oh,
just
absolutely.
relying on one service.
That's 100% true. Yeah, that's a great point that you mentioned that, Sal, too, because when you have a client that wants a ceramic coating or undercoating and PPF, whatever, not only do you have multiple at bats, you also have the cross selling opportunities because you can offer more to that particular
Oh yeah,
client. Oh my gosh!
yeah.
I
Now that
mean,
ticket size is bigger.
the ticket sizes are crazy. The average ticket are want to say that the average ticket at our shop right now is over $2,500. I'm going to pull it up right now for this entire year, and that's
Nice.
including all of our $0 invoices for like a PPF touch up or like an undercarriage touch up or just like to give a lot of free stuff away. I'm pulling up that report right now so we can actually see live as of December 10th what our average invoice size is, which is just in it's insane. But it's because we offer so many services and we bundle
Yes.
services together so frequently. A client will come in and they're like, "Well, I really want, you know, a ceramic coating, and I've been looking into the undercoating." And then they'll book the ceramic coating, and then we throw on tint, and then a week before their appointment, they'll be like, "Hey, how much is that undercoating?" Let them know the price. Go through a little bit of value build, and then let them know the price, and then they're just like, "Eh, just do it because the car's already there." And I'm like,
Yeah. Yes.
you
Or
know,
you just remove a lot of the complexity of them having to get the coding done with you, and then they have to get their windows tinted somewhere else. It just removes a lot of that. Because Aaron, how many times have you had a lead come in saying, "Hey, I want to get a ceramic coating done, but I also got to get my windows tinted, and I'm going to get PPF at this other shop." Where now, if you
all the
offer
time.
all of those services, it's like just get it done here with us. Plus, you get a better price than doing it at two other locations.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, and there's a lot of clients that just want more convenience. Like, you have to look at this like industry almost like
Yeah.
a like you want to look at in business, okay, in general, you want to look at it like, convenience. Like the the restaurants that have drive-throughs have 40% more business because they have a drive-through. And that's not because drive-throughs just have some magic aura on them. It's because the customers don't have to get out of
Yeah.
their car. And when you build that convenience into this business, it's an absolute no-brainer. I got the number for us on average
Let's see
invoice.
it.
We're looking at 24.45 and 12 cents. So just about 2,500 bucks. So every person that walks through my door and buys, I know I can get an average of 2,500 bucks, which is in this industry is actually like
That's insane. That is
insane.
insane. Let's talk about that real quick, Aaron, because when I'm just putting myself in the shoes of somebody maybe just starting out or looking to get into coatings, right? They're, just owner operator detailers
Yeah.
where they haven't gotten into marketing. They don't really know a whole lot about why sales is important or necessary. So, Aaron, can you go into a little bit more detail on that average ticket price? Obviously, the diversity of services helps with that, but like if you put yourself in your shoes 5 years ago and you heard that, first thing would be how? How is that possible? Aaron, can you kind of go over your thinking behind maybe some decisions you made to increase that over time?
Oh yeah. PPF is one of the biggest decisions. That increases invoices a lot, but also charging what is the service is worth to hit the margins that you want to hit is really one of the biggest proponents of way how we get our average invoice so high. A lot of clients do multiple services with us. That's 100% true. But
Mhm.
the biggest thing is like our coatings. they start at 2 grand, and then they go up from there depending on which package you choose, the size of the
Yeah.
vehicle, current condition, or whatever the case may be. But our coatings start at 2 grand. Most people's coatings in this area are starting at what, 1,000, 800,
Yep.
1,000, maybe 1,200. Like,
Yeah.
that's where their coatings start. So I mean, you have an invoice for a PPF, full body PPF for $10,000, and you have a coating for 2 grand. Your average invoice is well over, 3 grand just with those two services. So you could even do two coatings at 2 grand a piece with one $8,000, and your average invoice is still over 3 grand, right? So those are the types of things, right? That really build that average invoice size up, is not only the diversification of services and offering higher ticket services like paint protection film, but also in the simple fact that we do charge what is supposed to be charged in this industry for those, what other um, detailing shops think is like an average ticket size for ceramic coating. We're double that, or sometimes triple, so
Real quick,
that's something
Aaron.
to keep in mind.
Okay, so my next follow-up question is, how do you determine, like, how did you get at that $2,000 price tag? Because when most people get into coatings, they shop around. They might have like their girlfriend or their wives, call up their competitors and get a good understanding of what their prices are.
Always.
And like, how do you go from that, like, kind of getting a good baseline? Let's just say that baseline is $1,200, for a coating package. How do you go from that and decide I'm going to charge $800 more than what the average shop in my area charges? Like, I guess, like, what is the thinking behind charging more and getting that price when you have a lot of competition in your market?
Oh, absolutely. The answer is quality every single time. No question. The quality of,
Okay.
the quality of my work is just absolute light years behind anybody else. You can bring in 200 paint corrected and ceramic coated vehicles, and our quality is going to be number one.
I do
Behind
think
every
quality is
spoke of
yeah,
every wheel, completely clean.
I do think quality is going to be a big component to that. But again, just putting myself in the shoes of somebody just starting out, you know, they might think that their quality is also very top notch. Maybe they have the experience, they worked at a detail shop before, or they worked, at a car dealership, like, let's say they have that experience of craftsmanship. Still, that same question, how can that person charge more than the competitors?
Well, I think it comes down to a sales process. It comes
Yes.
down to a perfected sales process. I mean, you can go on the street and sell a rock for, $15,000 if you built the value on why that rock is worth $15,000, and people have. They call them whatever fancy rock names are.
Yeah.
Like, let me
It's an
let
Astro
me get,
Rock.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
fancy rocks worth $15,000. They're called amethyst with calcite on a stand, $22,000 from Wayfair. They're valuable gemstones and minerals. So when you go out and you say, well, there's an amethyst crystal cluster geode from Brazil for $28,000. I mean, to meet people like me and you, that's atrocious. I don't think anybody should ever pay $28,000 for a rock. I mean, I don't know why that's even, but there's behind. I don't get it. I didn't even know that rocks costed that much, but I guess they do. But it's the value that whoever is selling it brings to the table, or the perceived value that they've created on this rock. I don't, maybe amethyst is like, I don't know, either done left and it's going up.
yeah, yeah. If there's any rock hobbyists out there that know why those rocks cost so much, let us
I just
know.
looked it up and
I'm
it's
sure.
on Wayfair. That's like the cheapest furniture store you could possibly go to.
Yeah, that is a little weird. That is a little weird.
It's on
Okay.
Wayfair. So those are the things. Like, it's your sales process. You could sell a ceramic coating for $10,000 if you
Yes.
bring the value to the table and the expertise, and the client wants to pay that. It's
Yeah.
just supply and demand, you know?
And just to kind of piggyback off that, Aaron, I think one of the biggest things when somebody hears sales process or, terms like you just have to build value or you just have to X, Y, and Z, a lot of people don't know what that means, right? Because Aaron, you have a lot of experience in sales. You've seen it. You know what that looks like just through sheer repetition. But somebody getting into it, they think they're providing that value. They think that they're doing a great service, that craftsmanship, and that could be true, right? But
Right.
Aaron, can you talk about what and just to keep it simple, what I would consider as dumbing it down for the consumer, the person on the other end, the person who's hitting you up for a quote. They don't know what a ceramic coating is exactly. But they could really benefit from it, right? Maybe they just bought a brand new truck, brand new SUV. It might be their first brand new vehicle that they want to protect and keep looking new for longer. So, Aaron, how would you communicate what a ceramic coating is, what PPF is to that person while building up that value?
Absolutely. So the first thing is questioning. And that's the first part of the sales process after building rapport is questioning. So you understand, how are you doing today? Go through the different motions, what type of vehicle they have, and then you dive into questioning. So figuring out what actually they are looking to have done. Now, most people in our industry that take over sales for their company, they're owner operators, and they know what these ceramic coatings are, what they do, and why they're beneficial, and PPF and all that. And they automatically assume that the client's calling in and asking for a price on a ceramic coating.
Yes.
They know what a ceramic coating is,
They do not know.
and
You should assume that anybody that you talk to does not know anything about ceramic coatings, PPF, or anything. I would just go into each conversation with that assumption because it helps you look at explaining that in like first principles. Like, here's what it is, without using a whole lot of technical jargon. Here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's our process. Here's how it could benefit you. So,
right, yeah, that's exactly right. And like when you go into this process of like, you ask you'll ask me like, well, why do I need to question somebody on why they want PPF, like to protect rock chips? Duh. Or why does somebody want to get it ceramic coated? Well, easier maintenance and the shine. Duh. Like that's a no brainer. But the client doesn't even know that. And also
no,
you have a better chance of the client in their head emotionally attaching themselves to that particular service that you're offering if they repeat to themselves psychologically
yeah,
in the back of their mind subconsciously they're repeating back to themselves why they want to do it. It's going to persuade them. They're going to persuade themselves when you're asking the proper questions. So stuff like the basic questions are like, well, what kind of piqued your interest on this particular ad? And that's a great question. But you can dive even deeper, like, well, like, John, what, I know that you're wanting PPF to protect from rock chips and dings and scratches and scrapes, but like, what happens if you do get a scratch or a scrape? Like, what are you going to do? And
yeah.
those questions are like, well, I don't know. I need this PPF. Like, I can't go without it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and just from like a marketing point of view, one of the biggest things that I've seen early on is, we'll create a marketing campaign for our clients. They get a bunch of leads, and they think that all the leads are junk because they, you know, the lead wanted a price, the business owner gave them a price, but then the lead did not book.
Yeah, these are
So
not Google laydown leads, people. These are low intent Facebook leads. There's just a
yeah,
volume of them.
yeah. So and we'll go into the platforms here in a little bit, but when it comes to the questioning side, like if we took those same leads that came in, just ask them a couple basic questions, what are you looking to get done? Why are you looking to get it done? Like just clarifying that. Not only does it give you more information, more ammo to use in the sales process, but also gives the lead a lot more clarity on exactly what exactly they're buying.
Right.
So
Yeah, they,
when
they
you
can
have that
understand from
clarity,
their own
exactly.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, because when people see the ad, whether it's on Google or Instagram or Facebook, when they see the ad, they might have heard the term, they might have seen a video clip before. But again, a lot of that is still surface level. They don't know exactly what a coating is. They don't know what the prep process looks like. They don't know the whole wide range of benefits that they could benefit from. So they're going into it curious. They want a price. They want to know what it's all about. They want to know if it's something that, they would entertain further on. So that's where the questioning really becomes important, because now you're taking that same lead, you're asking better questions, you're getting more information, they're getting a lot more clarity, you're kind of educating them along the way. And now, Aaron, how many times have you asked a lead those basic clarifying questions and educated them along the way, and that ultimately led to a customer?
Oh, more times than not, because the majority of our Facebook leads, of our leads in general, are Facebook leads. And the
Hmm.
reason that they are is because everybody else around here and around the country doesn't know how to sell coatings on from Facebook leads properly. They think that they just give them the price and they call it a day. But these are low intent leads that there's just a volume of them, right? And so like when you look into this uh of well, like most businesses right now, and that's why this industry's increased on Google uh, a ton, is because they
Oh, yeah.
need they need those lay down type of leads, and the lay down type of leads are like the ones that all these solo entrepreneur like business owners, owner operators, that they can actually close them because they're like laydowns on Google. They're like looking for tint. They're ready to go. They already see the price on your website. They fill out a form and you call them and they book. And so those are one of
Yeah.
the biggest things is like you can find success where other people aren't. You have to find your niche. And our particular niche is closing Facebook leads because they won't get closed from another company.
Yeah.
So
And just to kind of compare and contrast the two platforms, just broadly speaking, um, now lay down lead sounds great, right? Like just having somebody hit you up, call you, they get a price, they turn into a customer. Like ideally, perfect, right? But the biggest downside is that those leads are typically going to be a lot more expensive, a lot more
absolutely.
competitive, and they're far and few in between. So while advertising on both Google and Meta is always a good idea, you shouldn't rely on either platform. You shouldn't rely on one method, one way of getting a customer, because just like
Result.
with services, it's putting your business at risk for, what if the algorithm changes? What if Mark Zuckerberg just wakes up and decides, hey, I don't like this industry anymore. Let's go ahead and tweak the algorithm a little bit. So things like that, you're protecting your business against, but you're also able to get a lot more repetition when it comes to the leads that you talk with, the educating that you do. So there isn't like one platform, there isn't one method or way that you could turn anybody into a customer reliably without any money, um, without having to wait a long time. So yeah, a lot of it does come down to what your preference is. If you prefer to wait several weeks for a Google campaign to begin ramping up, ramping up, not even like getting leads in, but just ramping up and optimizing. Or if you'd rather go the high lead volume route on Meta and just get a lot of leads in, like Aaron said, they might be low interest at first, but with the right educating, with the right follow-up process, you could do a lot of that education on the back end, which we could dive into here, Aaron. So we talked about the front end, why marketing, why sales is important. Can you talk about what you do when you have all those leads in your CRM, Aaron?
Yeah, what when I do what I do with all of them in what sense? Like when they first come in or when they're just kind of
Yeah. So So let's just say that you're spending, I don't know, $50 a day on Facebook ads. You're getting 5 to 7 leads per day. You're calling each lead, you're texting them, but a good handful of those will text you back the next day, or they'll call you back a couple days after, right? So how do you handle those incoming leads every day while following up with the previous leads?
Yeah, so we have in our business, and this doesn't work for solo owner operators, but we have in our business what's called an appointment setter. And so they will go through the leads every single day, nonstop, 8 hours a day, sometimes more, weekends and all that. They'll not only answer calls, but they'll also follow up with every single lead that's already come in the system and all of the new leads. And they'll continue to follow up with them. And their job is to book a consultation to come in person, or you can have an appointment setter booking phone calls for the sales reps. So whether you book a phone call or whether you book like a warm transfer or whether you book an actual in-person consultation, that's what our appointment setter is here to do every single day. And you can actually get some that are virtual assistants that are a little bit less expensive, but I like ours to be in-house because then we kind of go up a training schedule that
Mhm.
basically they train on the appointment setting, and then they learn a little bit about our front office, and then they'll go up into sales. So it's a good way for us to kind of hire within, in a sense. So they get hired on as a sales rep, but they have to start in the appointment setter role, and we always have an appointment setter that's always in training and learning to just keep expanding the sales team. So that's the biggest thing for us is what we do as an appointment setter that's just constantly calling, texting, emailing, constantly calling, texting, emailing. And
Real quick, Aaron, what about the owner operator or the business owner, if they have a small team, what would you say to somebody that kind of goes into the follow-up process with the mindset of, hey, I don't want to seem super annoying. I don't want to seem super pushy. I don't want to bother people. What are your thoughts on that kind of approach?
oh man, you know my thoughts on that approach. They reached out to you.
Yes.
They reached out
Yes.
to you. They didn't they You're not cold calling these leads that have a 2025 Cadillac Escalade and that wants ceramic coating. They asked you they asked you a buying question, whether that's for a quote or more information, or they want to know about your services, or they want to know who the heck you are. They reach out to you. So we reach out to every single person every single day until they either A, reply stop, B, swear at us, or C, block us.
Mhm. Yeah. And
And we just
again,
keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You'd be very surprised, and sorry to cut you off, Sal. You'd be very, very surprised how many leads will actually
yes,
like respond back when you keep following up just because they were busy. It's not
that's
that
literally
they
what it
didn't want the
is.
service. I am busy right now. I can't answer my phone to a lead that I just inquired about a new pool for my house or whatever. Like, you're busy, Sal. Like, we're on a call together. Like,
Yeah.
people are busy. And so just continually following up with them when you get them to answer the phone on the first try, pure gold, right? But
Yeah.
if you don't, you keep following up. They're the ones who reached out to you.
Yes. Especially if they are maybe on the older side where text is just not the best for them. You have to catch them at the right time with a phone call where following up with them over time just makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah,
I
you
have,
would
I
be
have
very
one client.
surprised.
I have one client. She's in almost 5 grand, and she just called me today while her car is still here for another car, and that one's probably going to be between like 2 to 3 grand. And she she only answers calls when she's home. She only has a home phone. She doesn't give out her cell phone, and she emails. So there's a few things to note with that, but you can email somebody back and forth for hours. That's okay.
Yeah.
But you can't, like, you're telling me that you're gonna stop replying to this lady because she didn't answer your phone call or text. She doesn't even have text. That's a landline she gave you, and that landline that she gave you is 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 only answered when she's home. If she's not home, you're not getting a hold of her. So emailing, constantly calling. And if you call at every hour of the day, we'll start off every lead around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And then if they don't answer the next day, it'll be 8:30 to 9. And then they don't answer the next day, we do 9 to 10, and then 10 to 11, and then 11 to 12, and then 12 to 1, and then 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that we
It sounds
catch
crazy,
them
right?
at
Yeah.
every single point of their day. And there's a lot of clients that they make a lot of money, they wanna spend a lot of money with us, but they're at work. It's just like a
Yep.
magical thing. So either Saturday mornings and Sundays we'll hit them, or like on their lunch breaks, we'll do a ton of calls around like noonish.
Mhm.
11 to 1 is like big. 11 to 12 and then 12 to 1 are like huge lunch times around here and for probably anywhere, right? And so we hit all of our leads at that time as well, because we know that they're either on break or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you just it's really a timing thing because yeah, they're either business owners or they're busy professionals, or maybe they're like me where they have ADHD where you have to really catch them at the right time.
You have to.
Yeah. So, and that's like the most common theme across all of our successful clients is they persistently follow up no matter what. They either do it themselves or they have a sales rep do it for them, but some sort of follow-ups where you're showing that person that, hey, your business, even though you expressed interest maybe a week, 2 weeks, or last month, that we're still interested in earning your business. And that right there goes such a long way. Um, Again, especially with the older market where their phone call people, text might not work the best for them. They're emailing. So Aaron, from what it sounds like, you're following up in different ways: phone calls, text, email, whatever you have to do to get in touch with that person. You're following up.
Multiple phone numbers. We'll do iMessage with an iPhone versus a green Samsung. We'll do different numbers for spam blockers, and we'll call from different numbers as well. Sometimes people only answer from their area code, so we'll call from that area code. Like one of our
Mm,
area codes around here is like for example 6620. So like we'll call from a 620 number because they instantly feel like trust versus like, oh, this is just a scammer or like a
yeah.
a spam call with a different area code. So, and there's apps that can do this as well. I do want to give one like golden nugget slash tidbit here before we jump off. But one of them is uh, that a virtual assistant, if you were to hire a virtual assistant just to do texting and emailing, and all they did every single day, all day, every day was just text at different times and email at different times and follow up with like maybe automations or a closerbot.ai, like actually just like manhandling that, following up with that. Like it's a it's like you can get a virtual assistant that's very knowledgeable, like $1,000 a month.
If that, yeah. And real
You can
quick,
get them cheaper, of course.
just to do a little shameless plug, guys, if you guys need somebody to follow up with your leads, go to closerbot.ai. There is a free plan. There's also a paid version. You just get more features, but we built out Closerbots. And by the way, Closerbot, I know it's very like if anybody could recommend good names for this AI follow up software that we built in house, please let me know because we want something. Closerbot was something that we called it internally that we just bought the domain and we kind of built it around that. But I don't know if I love that name because there's also the analytics part to it. So you could have Closerbot follow up with your leads, or you could just look at how your ads are doing. Um, so go check it out. It is in beta right now, so if you're interested in seeing what it's all about, go ahead and join it. We built it specifically for the detailing industry,
It's pretty sweet.
where you could go in there, you could give it all your business information, your pricing. You could tell it how to overcome objections, and it does it for you if you use the Go High Level CRM. It just makes it a lot easier to integrate, and you get full control over what it does and what it does not do. Um, so yeah, that's probably going to be the cheapest route, probably even cheaper than hiring a VA, like looking for a VA, hiring, training. Um, so yeah, if you guys want to go check it out, go check it out. Sign up for the free plan, and yeah, give us feedback. Like we want to know exactly what or how you could get the best use out of it. So yeah, just something that we've been working on. It's still in beta, so like I said, there's going to be bugs here and there. Um, Anyway, Aaron, when it comes to the follow-up process, it sounds like you're very adamant when
Yeah.
you do follow up with those leads. But What would you say to somebody who says, "Man, that sounds like a lot of effort. It sounds like, I don't want to bother people, I don't want to get cussed at or blocked."
I would tell him to go work for somebody else.
Yes,
I
I
mean,
would agree because
you need to be aggressive. I mean, if you're wanting to close deals, everybody around you is being aggressive. If you're not going to be aggressive, you're gonna get left behind. You know,
some
this is business. This is not a first grade, second grade, third grade math tests 2 plus 2. This is business, and
yeah,
you need to have that grit, that drive, that determination to win. And so you're
yes.
going to, your leads and your sales and your clients are not, unfortunately, I've been down that path. They're not going to be handed to you. They aren't handed to me. Okay, they're easier now because we've built a name on our with our company, and we've built social media, and we spend a lot of money on advertising and all that stuff. But like your leads, your clients, they're not going to be handed to you, right? You don't just like start a business because you don't want to work a 9 to 5, and then all of a sudden here you're like now getting all these people reaching out to you, and your business is booming. You can just do the work and make 100 grand a year, 150 grand a year, 300 grand a year, and call it a day. Like it just doesn't work like that. Actually, have
Yeah.
to try for your business, and
Well,
so
the other thing to add to that, Aaron, is that maybe 5 years ago, I would say before COVID, you could basically live off just word of mouth, just off referrals, right, within
oh,
your local
easily.
market, because it wasn't as competitive. There wasn't as much competition. There isn't as many products out there as there is today. Now it's more competitive than ever. You have to really make an effort to get new customers, keep those customers, and keep them coming back. Like each one of those
Absolutely.
steps, you have to be aggressive with the follow-ups. Now, one thing I do want to specify is aggressive does not mean in your tone or
Yeah,
in,
like
being
rude.
annoying or desperate or anything like that. It just means you have to do it more often with more repetitions, um, where again, you're putting in that effort. Like it really does come down to it because it's not a money thing. It's not like, hey, I'm spending more in advertising. I'm going to get higher quality leads. If you don't follow up with those leads, like you have to reach out to them, and you can't just do it once. You have to get in touch with them. You have to see exactly what they're looking for. So that's kind of what goes back to that first point, Aaron, about questioning. What exactly are you looking for? Can we even help you? Um, and a lot of that snowballs into the rest of the sales process, which we've talked about and we'll continue to talk about when it comes to closing that lead. But a lot of it does come down to how you follow up with each lead. Because if you don't have a follow up process, you're not really making the most out of your advertising dollars or even those leads that are coming through your website organically. You paid $3,000, $4,000 for a website, you're getting leads, but if you're only calling them once, you're kind of shooting yourself in the
Most
foot there.
Yeah, most people that come into my shop, they're like, "Man, I was a little annoyed, but like, I'm glad you followed up with me. I'm just
Exactly.
I'm just a really busy person." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, how many other people did you reach out to?" They're like, "5." Holy crud! Like 5.
Well,
One guy called him back. 3 guys didn't call him back at all, and
yes,
I'm the 5th. So there's like, did 5 people not call you back, or did 5 people call you back? I mean, did 3 people not call you back, or did 3 people call you back and you didn't talk to them? And there's a huge difference here
exactly.
because a lot of people will put voicemail drops, or like they'll say like, "Oh, I called you, twice, but you didn't answer me." Well, if I don't answer somebody, I don't count that as me talking to them because they called and I didn't answer. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind, is like, well, you called them, but they don't even know you exist. You
Yeah.
need to get a response from them. And that's one of the biggest things that we've been working on, especially this quarter and next quarter, is trying to get more response rate out of people. And it's like a never ending cycle, which is just a beautiful thing, right? Sales and marketing is like, I drive
Yeah.
with it all day, but um, yeah, there's so many people that are like, yeah, I've reached out to 4 people, and nobody got back to me. It's like, what did
That
they
is
not get
very
back to you?
common,
Yeah, very
insanely
common.
common. In fact, if you're an owner, a business owner, go ahead and just call up your competitors and see how long it takes for them to call you back, to text you back, to give you a quote. A lot of people
Absolutely.
are not following up as aggressively as Aaron is, and I think that's exactly why he's on track to do 3 million and beyond that. Like I don't think it's just going to be at 3 million. Why his ticket price is so much higher? Why like it is a lot of hard work, but a lot of it just comes down to reaching out more often, educating somebody the right way. So it's like things that are basic in nature, but almost nobody's doing. You know, there a lot of business owners are too focused on the next widget, the next thing, the next shortcut, you know? But fundamentally, Aaron, how much of your business even comes from following up with customers?
Oh, so much. I would probably say over half.
Over half of
Yeah.
just following up persistently. So yeah, that's a
And
huge
from
difference
different phone
between
numbers and oh yeah,
that's a huge
easily.
difference between 2 million and 1 million in a year or 1
Oh,
million
without
and
it.
half a million. Like
Yeah.
so
You're doing 500 grand in work. You've been in business 2, 3, 4 years. That's great. How do we get to that million mark? And a lot of
yeah.
people call me all the time. They're like, "Can you help me?" I'm like, "We have to
Well,
start with the basics."
not even that, Aaron, but it also helps you really smoothen out a lot of that seasonality, right? Winter time's
Oh,
here.
absolutely.
You're not super worried about it. You're booked out 30 days. Um, a lot of that's because of the momentum that you built up, you know, in the springtime, summertime, fall. That just helps you coast throughout wintertime. So we're gonna leave you guys with that. Follow up with your leads. Be annoying. Be aggressive. Uh,
Oh yeah. And let us
and
know your successes too.
yeah, like even if you do it with just one lead, like take one lead and just see what happens if you continue to follow up with that one lead over a couple days.
Yes, that would be so amazing. And let
Just
us
do
know
it with
your
one lead. Yes.
yeah, that would be so amazing.
Yes. Okay, so guys, we'll leave you
Cool.
guys with that. And again, we're gonna make these more of a weekly thing or every other week. We'll put a calendar on the detailersgrowth.com website where you guys can see when we record these, when we put these out, and when we go live. And we'll add like a Q&A section where you can ask any questions. In fact, the more questions, the better. If it's very specific to your business or anything like that, it doesn't have to be a broad question. Feel free to ask. Feel free to get some free knowledge from Aaron and I. That's what we're here for. So yeah, we'll leave you guys with that. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we're looking forward to doing more of these. And we will. We will.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for
Uh,
watching. Hope I was a big help. And if there's anything I can ever do, text me, call me, Facebook message me, and I'm always happy to help. And I just I want to see you guys succeed. So thank you again, Sal, for having me, and we'll see you very soon.
all
Peace.
right. Bye, guys.